Good morning. Welcome to my morning meditation. I'm Kathy with Expanding Your Recovery. What I wanted to talk about today is the first step that alcoholism asks you to do, and that is to accept where you are in your journey and to admit out loud to someone else that you are struggling with a problem. I'm sitting outside in the background. I hope that you can hear my chimes. And I'm taking this moment to remember to go back to when I first had to admit that I was having a problem. Saying out loud to another human was incredibly scary. It was demoralizing. It was embarrassing. All those words, shame, so many things went through my head about how did I get to this point in my life? What did I do? Out there, what did I do to God? I even said that. What did I do to God so that I would end up here? That I have to go somewhere else to get help? That my body needed alcohol just to survive? And how did I get here? Why? I had so many questions about why, and the fear of admitting it to first of all, I started with a girlfriend, and then the girlfriend and I discussed it, and we went I went to my family. I went after that to my family. So I did it step by step, and then I went into a recovery program, and it took me a while to go to a meeting. I came home from the rehab with a new outlook in my life. I know I used the words that I can't pretend anymore in my life, and I felt like alcoholism, drinking, was a way for me to pretend that everything was happy, that I was doing well, that I was strong, and that I was confident, and that I was fun to be with and talkative. And I did all these. I drank so that I would become a person that I thought I needed to be. And even though I am a lot of those things today, I, for some reason, felt I needed the drink or the alcohol or the power within that bottle in order to become, powerful in itself. So coming home from that and facing the life that was ahead of me was overwhelming, very, very overwhelming. I was scared to death. I didn't know how facing everybody that I knew, so many more people now know that I went there. My ego was telling me, everybody was looking at me and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe that she did that to herself. She must be weak. She must be, how shameful." All those kind of things went through my head, and how am I going to make it through my days? How am I going to talk to my friends and my family and my parents and my parent at that time? And what's it going to take to live my life without drinking, without this thing that I called my friend at that time, or at least I thought it was my friend. And moving through all that was incredibly hard, but it's the admitting part that was one step. And as I was working with a client this week, we started talking about admitting and accepting. What's the difference between those two? And they're big. I admitted that I had a problem a long time, but I didn't admit it out loud. I didn't admit it to other people. I admitted it to myself. I remember way when I was young, I would Google what's an alcoholic, and do you do this? Do you drink every place you go? Is it important that you drink every place you go? Do you bring a bottle with you doing this? Do you socialize with it? Do you go to events with it? All those kind of things. And my answers were yes. And I might have had one like, do you drink before noon? And at that point, maybe I wasn't quite drinking before noon. So it's like, oh yeah, yay, I'm not an alcoholic. I got 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10 to put on the side of not being. So I was excited to be, not that. I struggled really, really hard to make sure that I wasn't, So admitting is one thing, And she said to the same thing, that she's gone for a while now, going to AA. She's gone to a rehab to herself, and she goes back to drinking. And you try to pretend that life will be different this time. You say, I only drink on the weekends, I only drink on a couple days, I won't drink liquor anymore, I'll only drink beer, or I'll only drink wine, or I'll only drink whatever. You put a bunch of rules around your drinking. And she was finding that she was doing that too, and then she'd lose control, which is what I always did. I lost control of my drinking. So yeah, we sat and had a big long conversation about what accepting where you are in your life compared to admitting it. And it, of course, could be anything other than alcohol too. It could be, you know, it could be shopping. It could be spending money. It could be a relationship with your mother or your father, or family, or a friend that you're struggling with, or your relationship you're in, or whatever it is. There's so many ways that we have to accept that something needs to change. And then we have to admit it out loud to someone and work with it. I mean, really, really work on it. And it's not an easy thing to make a change in your life. So that's where I'm at right now today. Is what is it that's in your heart? Again, my first nay that I have, and I love my nays, is listening to your heart. So what is in your heart today, my doggy, that that something needs to change, but you haven't yet said it out loud, you haven't talked to somebody else about it, you haven't communicated with it. My horses and I can help you in the barn if you're struggling with something inside and wanting to know if it's really, truly what your heart wants. That's where my horses can step in, and they recognize what your heart really feels, and sometimes your head doesn't want to recognize it, but in your heart you know it. So come see us if you want to. Keep listening to my Expanding Your Recovery. Become strong, confident, and powerful in your own self-worth is raising high as every day that you say something kind about yourself. So take it easy. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.